So how does it ride? This is how it rides. Key on, kickstart, stand up, in gear, find neutral, kick, Welcome to this episode of Small Bike Stuff. This is not my bike, but this is a good friend of mine's, Zach, and he has recently put this thing up for sale, and I thought I'd document this piece of history from the New Zealand small bike world before it goes. This is a Suzuki FR50 with a whole bunch of custom mods. You can see it behind me and it looks amazing, and we'll go through everything and learn about this bike. And yes, it's not two-stroke anymore. It's a four-stroke. It's got a 125 Lifan engine, so let's check it out. Alrighty, so let's get into the engine on this thing here. So as you can see down here, we've got a Lifan 125. This is a 125cc Lifan 4-speed. It's a manual, and we have a clutch all the way up here. There it is. And this is a 1 down, 3 up. Now these Lifan engines can sometimes be 4 up, 4 down, manual, semi-automatic, 110, 125, 70cc. There's a whole bunch of different configurations they come in, but this is a out-of-the-box 125 with the 125 carb that it came with, and I mean, it does the job. It significantly increased the life of this bike, because before it came along, it was two-stroke, and the two-stroke was okay. These guys had them two-stroke for a long time, but the power output just was a little bit lacking. What this has here is a modification plate to put in a Lifan 125, and these are made by Mike Dodd from Auckland, who's helped me with a whole bunch of stuff on my bikes before. He builds custom choppers and a whole bunch of stuff in his spare time. You'd think it was his full-time job with the quality level he gets to when he makes these things. So 125 Lifan, probably about 8 horsepower, it does the job. Not only do we have 72 spoke rims, I believe they're 72 spokes, I'll count later and confirm, but they're twisted spokes as well. So if you check out these closer in detail, you can see the twists in them. So look, I don't know exactly how they do that. It looks like it was a factory completed twist, but they're running Shinko SR898s, I believe they are. And this will be a 70-90-17 on the front and an 80-90-17 over there on the rear. So the Shinkos are really good quality. Shinko actually came about from Yokohama closing their factory back in the day for tyres and for motorcycle tyres, and Shinko, as far as I'm aware, bought all the molds and make similar patterns. So yeah, 72 spoke rims, an absolute darling of an effort. It looks really beautiful. So we've got a clutch here, we've got our throttle over here, and we've also got this single switch block. So the single switch block gives us low and high beam on the headlight. We've got turn signals, and we've got our horn. The turn signals on this thing are really nice and kind of hidden down there. There's another one on the other side. And if we go to the front, can you see them? There's one. And around the other side there is the other. So they're tiny little LED button indicators. They definitely do the job. The Suzuki always have the park light there as well, but I'm not sure if that's actually hooked up at the moment. So as far as controls go, that's virtually it. There is no front brake. So unfortunately, you have to use just this, which is hooked up to the rear. So that's your braking system there. Bloody cool bike. I love this thing. Customizations. Let's just look at the profile of that bike and see if you can think of any customizations right off the bat. The engine is obviously one. Now we slightly highlighted that, but as you can see, that's a plate there that bolts to the original engine mounts of the bike, and the Lifan bolts to those engine to that plate. So you haven't actually destroyed the frame here. Someone could hypothetically buy this, chuck a two-stroke in there, and you'll be good to go. This tube here has been extended, so the down tube has been made longer. They usually are not that long. And the swing arm has been extended, so the swing arm's a lot longer. The rear tyre would usually be sitting right up in there. There'd be wouldn't be able to see the back of it there. But as you can see here, the tail has been chopped. There is no longer a long tail, so it's a bit iffy in wet weather, but that's not a concern for me. It's got a rear rack here, which they didn't come out with standard, and this rack's really nice. I'm pretty sure you can ratchet strap a 6-pack of beers onto it quite easily. And the color is obviously dashing and stands out as well. So that's an orange sunburst something. I'm pretty sure Holden came out in this similar color for a while. But yeah, it's It's a wicked machine. I think the badges are possibly reproduction or aftermarket, or he's found some new old stock badges from Suzuki and made them work. The seat is also custom. That is just a piece of ply there, and it looks like a bit of a weird mouth. Oh, kind of a weird face. You can see the eyes up the top there, and a really long nose, and a mouth down the bottom. So the seat is custom, and yeah, it's a spiffing little job. It's done the trick, that's for sure. So, what else is there on this thing that's custom? Handlebars. The handlebars here are ape hangers, kind of. I mean, is that what you call them? They sit up about as high as my head, or a little bit lower, you know, up shoulder length and shoulder height, and I think they're quite nice to use. They've also got been shortened because they were quite a bit longer, and yeah, they've just been made to work for this bike. Random headlight, the park light's original, the front wheels, the wheels, both front and rear, are aftermarket as well, and they've been made to fit. I believe these were a Honda originally, but yeah, they fit on this bike pretty nicely, and the tyres as well. The Shinko SR898s kind of definitely top off the whole package. The tail light and the plate mount on the rear there, that's aftermarket. So you can kind of see that instead of having the tail or the number plate situated right there on the back, it's nice and on the side, and it says sweet, 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 it's sweet. Anyway, what else have we got? Now this here is a hardtail, and it's a long rod there with a little bit of thread in the bottom, so you can play with this nut down the bottom, and you can increase or decrease the height. So this thing here is sitting perfectly. I can't even get a finger under there. Maybe like a credit card would just sit in there, but it's got just enough room that when the tire gets warm and expands, which happens with hardtails, that it's 100% fine. So yeah, it's been well thought of. Now underneath here, we've got next to no ground clearance. You've got 2-3 fingers of ground clearance, and that's on the side stand as well. So yeah, it's very minimal as far as ground clearance goes, but I don't really think that's something that's an issue when you've got a bike like this. You're not getting this to worry about the ground clearance. That's not what it's for. I think that's all the modifications. The only things I haven't really mentioned are the pinstriping, which comes down the side there. That is a sticker, which is pretty cool. So, you know, you could change that or customize that if this was your bike. And this bike is for sale at the time of filming this video. He wants about 3,000 New Zealand dollars for it, which is a bargain with all the custom work that's gone into it. If you took a stock Suzuki frame and made it like this, you'd be paying a lot more than 3 grand probably off the bat. So yeah, get it all done by someone else. Still got enough capacity to make your own little touches and change things up a bit there. But yeah, it's a bike that I have a deep desire to own, but I will not. So maybe one of you guys can get it and we can see it out on the road again soon. I think the only issue is that it doesn't have a front brake. And now for me, that's not really an issue, but you know, I didn't even think about it when I jumped on it and rode out of the place I got on it, and it was a bit of an interesting situation when I came to my first stop, because I had a small panic and I ended up locking up the rear end. But now that I know that there's no front brake, I probably wouldn't make that mistake again. Other than that, the only other issue that you might consider to be an issue is the hardtail there. So if you've got a sore back or a bad back, or you just like suspension, this is not the bike for you. But otherwise, you know, just for city blatting and going down to the shop and grabbing 6 beers and heading home again, I don't think you could find a cooler bike. Well, thank you so much for watching this video on small bike stuff. Now, if you want to know a little bit more about how you can see your bike on my channel, flick me a message on Instagram or Facebook. Instagram is smallbikestuffig, Facebook is facebook.com/smallbikestuff. And I will give you a template video which tells you the 8 steps you need to follow. Really easy, you can do it with the phone. I'm doing this with the phone now, albeit with a gimbal and some extra microphone quality. And we can see your bike on the channel really easily. So thanks for watching. This is a Suzuki FR50. It's not a 50 anymore, here in New Zealand, and it's a bloody awesome bike.